Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I do give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem HaKadosh. The born to the apostles, Nels Great Millstone, full teachings is true, peace and blessings to the public of Israel. Yahweh is the name of the Fatherland Hebrew, Ba'ashem is the name, Yahushua is the name of the begotten Son. Back in the lesson, I see within the title, we're going to be going to facial recognition being implemented within these stores, and ultimately going to what this is leading up to. As you've seen the various steps that are being taken, the infrastructure and foundation being laid out right before your very eyes, all in order to usher in and bring about this base system, which is going to be ran through this MOTB, this charagma, which is the RFID C-HIP, and you are seeing the conditioning taking place, dealing with these various apps like Amazon One, where you're able to pay with the palm of your hand. You're seeing digital IDs now becoming more prominent. And as you're seeing right here, dealing with this topic, this lesson going into regarding facial recognition being implemented, which you already been seeing, many examples of that in China. People I made a post a while back, showcasing facial recognition to be able to access, a particular part of the park, if I'm correct. But you also see this at Disney World, where they take your fingerprint. You also scan, your wristband. I believe it's a wristband or a watch, but you scan it. So you've seen scanning becoming a lot more prominent. You're seeing a lot of supermarket stores implementing, locked, areas. You need to have and showcase your ID to access it. But get really into this right here. So I wanted to make a lesson, speak on this, and thought I'd make a lesson, diving into it, because the MOTB, Revelation 13:16, is a major end time prophecy, and we're seeing various steps being taken towards it. But since ShopRite is using facial recognition in its stores, here's what shoppers should know. The grocery chain is using facial recognition technology at some Connecticut locations, raising questions about privacy and transparency. And they're especially pushing this in the name of so-called security, safety, for your benefit, your well-being. Especially moving on to, that RFID C-HIP. Especially dealing with these mandates that are going to take place. So where you're going to need to have it. But the sign alerts customers to the use of facial recognition technology at ShopRite in Stratford, Connecticut on January 8th, 2026. This was last month. But as Connecticut lawmakers look to ban facial recognition technology in retail establishments, one popular grocery chain is already using the tech at its stores across the state. Now it says CT Insider visited 8 of the 28 ShopRite stores across Connecticut Thursday night. From Stamford to East Haven, 7 of the stores had signs at the entrance warning customers that facial recognition technology was in use at the store. And despite no visible signs, staff at the 8 location in East Haven said the store was also collecting customers' biometric data. Because this is also what they want, total control, keeping tabs on everything that you are doing, things you're saying. We're coming to that time, Revelation 13:16, which is the main point. And it says, "And he called to both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in their foreheads." That word mark in the Greek goes to the word charagma, which then goes to the word etch, scratch, which is a physical mark. Now it says, or in their foreheads. I've also seen Elon Musk and other companies creating similar things to that, the Neuralink, which is the mark in the forehead. Verse 17, that no man might buy or sell save he that the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, and very soon you won't be able to live a so-called normal life without it. It's why you're going to have a lot of these Israelites out here end up buckling under that pressure and taking that MOTB, bending that knee. Just as you had back in 2020, dealing with that trial run. Where you had the concoction, the juice being heavily pushed, being mandated, especially at particular jobs. And you had a lot of these Israelites that end up buckling under that pressure, giving in, bending the knee. So if you failed the pop quiz, imagine when the test is now in play. Because y'all these jakes out here that weren't willing to, lose their job over this thing. Matter of fact, you got like Israelites that were pushing, promoting, taking the juice, that concoction. And they're going to be the same ones to push and promote this MOTB. Or, take it themselves. Probably one of the points they said was, do what you got to do. Take if you need to. And look at all the, judgment that came from, the people that took that concoction. And we warned you to for Yahweh Shem to stay far away from it. But we were mocked. We were scoffed at. And look what ended up happening. The prophets were right. But you have a lot of these others, like camps, have a lot of blood on their hands. Because they especially wanted to push and promoted, the juice. And they soon to promote this MOTB. If not, because you really see them right now, trying to point the finger elsewhere that the MOTB is a spiritual mark, that it's sin itself, that it's something else entirely, which is completely off, and going to show they sold out. They took the bag. But working on with the rest of these scriptures, this is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11, and it says, "Let Satan take advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his device." We see what this devil's playing at, and ultimately what he's trying to do. Because you've seen the conditioning, you've seen how they're preparing the people for this beast system. So when it is pops onto the scene, people are not surprised. People are used to it, As we're going to further reading NLT, so that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with this evil scheme. So we know what this devil's playing at, man. Especially soon to use these celebrities, these streamers to push, promote, this beast system, this agenda. It's clear. As you already see, what they're doing on, dealing with, various other, things they're doing. Dealing with the, the Moes. Trying to be careful with my words. You're trying to justify that and normalize that, onto, younger children, which is just off. You see it within movies, TV shows, cartoons, and now you have, streamers, which a lot of the younger audience, the younger generation follows and, looks up to, now pushing and promoting wickedness and confusion. Which was why I'm making a lesson go to that, because I briefly, touched on that in one of my lessons, but that point was made even more, because, came across a couple clips where you had this Jake streamer, pretty much doing a collab with a, a gay streamer. And you have a lot of Jakes that, watch that guy, the Jake streamer. So those were, going to that. And like I said, you have a lot of the younger generation that looks up to these guys, that mimics and follows things that they say and do. And now you have that, wickedness, confusion being upheld and being normalized and all that types of stuff. But don't want to get, too far off track. Isaiah 10:1 says, "The will until the decree marks decrees, and that right grievances which they have prescribed going to the draconian-like laws." Because soon you're going to have, this MOTB mandated, restrictions being put into place where you won't be able to operate or live a so-called normal life without it. It's how they're going to force a lot of people's hands. But this is why it's important to have faith and trust in Yahweh B'Shem Shai, because as you get taught the scripture, the Lord's going to be the one to take care of us, to defend us. 2 Ezra 15:17, it says, "A man should desire to go into his city and shall not be able." So don't be surprised if you have checkpoints being held to where you can't leave or enter city, state, especially without having that Karagma, that MOTB. Because soon you need to show, proof. And they showed you one particular movie, which I don't know if it came out yet, but there was a trailer where you had pretty much the military, I believe martial laws pretty much declared. And you had people, I guess trying to cross a certain checkpoint, and they pointed guns at them, told them to hold, stop. And one of them, raised their hand, their arm, to show they had, whatever, within them to pretty much, get past, whatever the case may be. I forgot the exact intricacies of it. I haven't seen the trailer in a minute, but you see ultimately the point that was, being made. Got a couple more. So Revelation 2:10, it says, "Fear none of those things thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast you into prison, that ye may be tried. You have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So we're going to be tried, we're going to be tested. This is why you get within the scriptures in James 1 and 12, especially the man that there's temptation, for when he is tried shall receive the crown of life. So we're going to be faced with temptation. And your own family may be used against you, going against you, for not wanting to take this MOTB, urging and pushing you to go and take it. Your own woman may take it herself and get the young ones, take it with her. Your job may be on the line. These are times we're coming to, and especially your life be on the line, which is especially going to trigger a lot of our people to go out and take the MOTB. But it's further goes to show they had no faith nor trust in Yahweh Ba'Shemel Shah. So again, in scripture, all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. But let's read one more time. The devil shall cast him into prison, that ye may be tried. I've seen these various locations that Trump is turning, these buildings into your holding centers. And we said, this type of stuff was coming. These FEMA camps, concentration centers, if I said that correctly. But it says in your tribulation days, be thou faithful, does not give thee a crown of life. Revelation 3:10 for that to that point. And it's because I was kept with my patience, I also keep thee from the hour of temptation. The Lord's going to keep us from that. It doesn't mean we're not going to be faced with it, but the Lord's going to give us the strength in order to endure and to resist these things. To deny this beast system, that MOTB. He's going to give us the strength and the spirit that we need in order to endure these coming times. This is one more time from on top. Because I was kept with my patience, I also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So everyone's going to be faced with that choice. And this closing scriptures, Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3. And it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but the angel speaking not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it surely come, it will not tarry, meaning it will not delay. These things will happen, it will come to pass. Prophecy is speaking. And we're in these appointed times as written and spoken of within the scriptures. So this further going to show us how close we are to the end of this place. I mean, prophecy is quite literally speaking once again. And soon the prophets will no longer be doing the talking, as you can further get throughout the scriptures. It's like I want to say Isaiah 30, if not in a chapter, but going into, so soon no longer, quote this proverb, because it's going to be playing out, it's going to be taking place. But that's the point. Lord loves edifying it, doing close out, give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Ba'Shemel Shah B'Shem Kakadash and Shalom. See you next one, Lord's will.